The crowd moved through Red Square, mocking one symbol, Lenin's tomb, then another square and another symbol, Lubyanka, the headquarters and prison of the KGB. One official suggested this day be declared Russian Independence Day, but no one needed an excuse to celebrate.
We are very happy to be Russian. Today we are Russian, that's all.
And it wasn't Gorbachev in these Russians' hearts.
If there weren't Yeltsin, we wouldn't have a leader we'd listen to.
As the noose went around the neck of Felix Dzerzhinsky, founder of the KGB, officers inside could only watch in disbelief. Outside, people were beginning to believe in a new emotion, joy.
I think this day give us a new future.
As cranes were brought in to topple the statue of oppression, some reflected on what the new revolution would bring.
A new life, to feel the freedom.
For others, the joy of the moment was enough.
The deal had caused Raisa Gorbachev to have a bad spell yesterday, Gorbachev said, but he hoped it was temporary. Gorbachev thanked all those who'd saved democracy here and his life.
I recognize the role played by the Russian people and by their president, Boris Yeltsin.
Yeltsin, the hero of the resistance, drew a standing ovation at the Russian parliament and, to applause with every name, announced the fates of the coup leaders. Acting President Yanayev, arrested. Defense Minister Yazov, arrested. KGB Chief Khrushchev, arrested. Prime Minister Pavlov, hospitalized and under guard. Interior Minister Pugo, a reported suicide. Others arrested or soon to be. Later, Yeltsin thanked the people who had defended him and Russia's parliament. Russia, he said, had saved the Union. Gorbachev also got a standing ovation today at a news conference where he described how his own chief of staff had led his captors to him.
I said you are adventurers. You will ruin yourselves, goddamn you. You will ruin the country too.
Gorbachev did not give details, but he charged his captors had tried to break him psychologically. Gorbachev was asked many times why he had appointed the kind of men who would attempt a coup. I trusted them, he said, especially Defense Minister Yazov and former KGB Chief Khrushchev.
And the other leaders of the most powerful republics will not be in a mood to compromise, and a key to that meeting will be the Baltics, with their long history of differences with Moscow. Today, Estonia officially outlawed the Communist Party. NBC's Dennis Murphy managed to get to Tallinn.
The Estonian parliament went on the hunt today. Prime Minister Edgar Savisaar called out the names of the alleged collaborators, the Estonians who helped the Soviet hardliners in the bungled coup. The port manager fired. Managers of the Russian factories rooted out. Some police names, some radio broadcasters, now facing prosecution and dismissal.
It's obvious who is who. And it's also important for us here in Estonia because some part of our political forces have played very dirty games until now.
It almost went unnoticed that Estonia had declared its independence from the Soviet Union in the dark hours when Soviet soldiers seized the republic's TV broadcast tower. A bloody confrontation was diffused by the Prime Minister. After 10 minutes of negotiations with the soldiers, they left, retreating to their barracks. Today, the Estonian government demanded that the Soviets recall certain commanders and limit the role of their military here. In neighboring Latvia, Soviet soldiers killed the director of the TV station there. In Lithuania, where the parliament was barricaded, a local militiaman died in fighting. Today, in Estonia's capital, the nervous tension dissolved in a street party. Some saw independence unexpectedly peeking around the corner.
Today, it's very important, very, very important. It's the first free day of our life.
The senior partner of this coalition went even further. At a rally in front of KGB headquarters, Yeltsin announced he was banning the Communist Party from any involvement in the secret police, the military, and other organizations in the Russian Republic. Yeltsin also issued an order barring 7 Communist Party newspapers, including Pravda, from publication. accusing them of being propaganda tools for the coup plotters. It was clear that Yeltsin was flexing his newfound muscle, as well as trying to hasten the departure of the Communist Party in Soviet life. In that, Yeltsin was clearly expressing the will of the Soviet people. For the third straight day, thousands took to the streets, calling for an end to communist rule.
All three Baltic states have declared their independence, and with Yeltsin's backing, their freedom may be achieved much sooner as well.
For the first time since 1917, the Russian flag is flying over the Kremlin, right next to the hammer and sickle. And that perhaps is the most potent symbol of the dramatic political changes that are unfolding here in the Soviet Union.
As significant as the purges are, they may not be enough to save the Communist Party from the rage of the people. In the Republic of Moldavia, crowds gathered to topple a statue of Lenin, an unthinkable act just a few days ago. And the new head of the KGB banned all communist activity in the KGB.
The changing face of the Soviet Union is minus one well-known face tonight in the Baltic Republic of Estonia. Jubilant Estonians cheered as the people took down a prominent statue of Lenin from their streets. In other Baltic states, Latvia today banned the Communist Party. Lithuania did the same yesterday.
Sparked by Yeltsin's decrees, protesters blockaded Communist Party headquarters to prevent removal of any documents that might link party members with the coup, and they ejected party officials from the building.
Communism is over at last.
And Gorbachev dramatically displayed what he said were minutes of a secret Soviet cabinet meeting that revealed who backed the coup. And he said the Communist Party Central Committee had panicked during the takeover.
They lost their heads. That's about all that one can say about the traitors. I have to say you right in the eye. For me, it's a terrible trauma. It's very terrible trauma.
Gorbachev objected to declaring the Communist Party a criminal organization. He called that a witch hunt that unfairly indicts millions of people in the party. But the Russian parliament went ahead with its determination to crack down hard on the communists. Folks?
It's incredible. Thanks, Ralph.
Observing the funeral procession of 3 of the 5 people killed resisting this week's aborted hardline coup. Gorbachev said the victims had given their lives to prevent the country from returning to totalitarianism. But this was not the messenger the Russian people wanted to hear. The Republic's president, Boris Yeltsin, who bravely fought for Gorbachev's freedom from his captors earlier this week, has been unforgiving of the Soviet leader's refusal to denounce the Communist Party since his return to Moscow. He has forced Gorbachev to appoint men chosen by himself and his non-communist reformers to posts vacated by ousted conspirators. In the sadness of this day, and for the future, Yeltsin, not Gorbachev, is at the center of power now. As Muscovites mourn the men they call their fallen heroes, some of Gorbachev's key Central Committee colleagues called for the dissolution of the Communist Party.